Alright guys, so this is just a little mini lesson on choosing the best method for graphing linear equations depending on what form your original equation is in. Okay, so far I have taught my students this year two different forms of a linear equation, which means one that when you graph it, it's going to make a straight line. So I've taught them about the slope-intercept form, which is in the form y equals mx plus b. So y is on one side by itself, x is on the other side. So x and y are not on the same side. I've also taught them about standard form. Standard form is when x and y are on the same side. Okay, so that's the difference between the two. Now, choosing the best method of graphing. When it is in slope-intercept form, the best method of graphing is going to be using your slope and your y-intercept. You're not going to want to have to find both your x-intercept and your y-intercept. That's just extra work when they already give you the slope and the y-intercept. So a review here, and if you're in my Algebra 1 class, then this is one of your homework problems that I'm doing with you now. Your m, which is our variable for slope, okay? Your m is the number, the coefficient. This is m is slope, okay? So m is the number that comes in front of x, the coefficient. So your m is 3/4, and your b is the other number in the problem, your constant in the problem, and your sign does come with it. So your b is -1, okay? All right, so in order to graph, our steps to graph is number 1, plot the y-intercept. And so this is the y-intercept, which is your b. Your y-intercept is a point on your y-axis. So here's my origin on the y-axis. I'm going to go down 1, since this is -1, and put a point. That's going to be my starting point. Okay? Now, from here, your slope tells you how to move. So since this is a positive, I'm going to go up 3 and write 4. Now, if this were to have been a negative, always make sure you put your negative sign on with the top number, with the numerator, so that way your top number is going to tell you to go up or down. You don't ever have to worry about this bottom number being negative. That just confuses students. So make sure you always, negative and positive comes from the top number. If it's positive, you go up. If it's negative, you go down, but you always go to the right initially. So I start with my y-intercept. I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, and to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a point. Up 1, 2, 3, and to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a point. Up 1, 2, 3, and to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a point. Up 1, 2, 3, and to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a point. Now I can't go up 3 and write 4 again, so I'm done in that direction. However, I need to finish out my graph, so I'm going to reverse my actions, and instead of going up and right, I'm going to go down and left. So I'm going to go down 3, left 4, down 3, left 4. And I continue that until I can't do it anymore, which puts me right here. And then I tell my students to take their ID and to make a pretty line that goes all the way across, your coordinate plane. Alright, so that's going to be your method when you are wanting to graph when you have it in slope-intercept form. Get your m, get your b. Now, your method for when it's in standard form is going to be to graph using your x and y-intercepts. Okay? Now, to find your x-intercept is where it touches your x-axis, so your y is 0. So you get to ignore that y term. So you do 2x equals -8. Okay? And for your y-intercept, that's when your x is 0, so you get to ignore that x term. But if I cover that up, I still have a -4y. So I have -4y equals -8. And now you have simple algebra to solve for our x and our y. Simply divide by the coefficient that's in front. So dividing by 2, -8 divided by 2 is -4. Alright, divide out by this -4. So -8 divided by -4 is +2. So I'm gonna do this in a different color. This line is a different color. So I put a dot on my y-intercept. I should probably not do it in black, anyhow, that's what my line is in. So my I was doing y-intercept. So my y-intercept is +2, put a point here. My x-intercept is -4. So I'm gonna go to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point. And then for this one, you only have 2 lines. So I'm actually gonna use this to make this a little bit of a prettier line here. Go ahead and connect. Arrows on each end. And if you're in my Math 8 class, then this is one of your homework questions that I just did. So go ahead and use that for that one and then try the other one. Okay, so choosing the best method. Make sure that first identify what form it's in. That's important. If x and y are on opposite sides, slope-intercept, use this method. If x and y are on the same side, standard form, use this method. There's one more form of an equation I haven't spoken with my students yet about, so I will post a video about that form and how to graph that form a little bit later. Okay, have a great day.